What's up guys, Idiocric is back, and today I'm bringing you another episode of an idiot rambling about cricket in his shitty ass office. How you guys doing? Today we're going to be talking about England versus Australia, the T20 series that just finished. I think the first game can be very well described by this GIF. The second game can be described by this GIF. And in the third game, we'll find out that fielding is racist. No, not Jonathan Fielding, the English cricketer, but the actual act of fielding. Stay tuned. Alright, so let's talk about this first game. My early prediction was that Australia were going to get swept. There's a couple of reasons for that. Australia hadn't played since March, and England had been consistently playing against West Indies and then Pakistan and then now against Australia. They had their full strength squad with them, England. They had Jos Buttler who'd come back, Mark Wood, Jofra Archer, all three of these people well rested and ready to take on the Aussies. So Australia won the toss and they elect to bowl. Alright, it's a spinning wicket, they think they can get something done. Here's the problem though. Their bowlers are fast, aka Stark and Pat Cummins, right? Kane Richardson is a bowler that can bowl some change-up deliveries as well as Pat Cummins, right? But spin bowling is not their strong suit. You know, Zampa did not do well, neither did Agar. So they decide to put Agar in the second over, and Agar frankly just does not do a very good job. Butler smashes him for a 6, then a 4, and then another 6. He's in great form, and all the credit goes to the Pakistani boys once again. However, some brilliant captaincy was also at display. Aaron Finch tells third man to come up a little, which was Mitchell Stark, while Pat Cummins was bowling, and that ends up in Bairstow's wicket. And then Agar, my bald-headed brother, comes in and takes revenge against Butler, but at that point Butler has already done the damage that was needed. Now this wicket was great because Finch took a brilliant catch off of Agar to get Butler out, and this is the type of captaincy and fielding that you need in order to win big games. And there were many other examples of this brilliant fielding on display when Steve Smith took a brilliant catch off of Maxwell's bowling to dismiss Morgan. And Stark, he saved some really crucial runs. Now, at this point of the game, we come to realize that the pitch is really slow. Well, a lot of people must have realized it before, but that's when I come to realize, because the game is happening in England. We don't expect these sort of slow pitches. We expect these pitches in the UAE or in the IPL. I mean, who would have thought that slower balls and spin was what's going to work in England, of all places? Some other good points from this match was that Maxwell did really well. And then Adam Levine came in and hit it. David Milan came in and hit a 50. I mean, come on, they definitely have a striking resemblance. So Milan and Butler set up England's total, and it's a competitive score. It's not the best score, but still, with this spinning wicket, it might be a score that Australia can't get. And I was watching the halftime show where Shane Warne and Kevin Peterson were being interviewed, and they both were saying that England should put up pace first and put pressure on the Australian side. They should put up Mark Wood and Jofra Archer back to back, and that way they're going to get more wickets. Now, even though those two are the cricketing geniuses and I'm just a nobody, I still had some disagreements with what they were saying. I mean, did they not see what happened in the previous innings? Pace was not the thing that was working. So even if they do put up Mark Wood and Jofra Archer in the first 4 overs, they need to take off the pace. And you know what? I turned out to be right. I'm not saying I'm smarter than them, but maybe I should be doing that job. Come on, Sky Sports. Well, I can talk in an English accent as well, you know? Wood and Jofra got hit around. And then Adil Rashid and Chris Jordan came in, and they did a good job to slow the run rate, and eventually, with the batting collapse, they helped England take the game. Now, Australia had a very good chance of winning this game, but Maxwell completely threw away his wicket. And we hear Kevin Peterson saying that Maxwell can be stupid sometimes. Essentially, that's what he wants to say. However, he says silly or other less provoking words, I guess you could say. So England win. David Milan is the man of the match, and we move on to the second game. Alright, so I'm not really going to talk about the second T20, mainly because I didn't watch it. But having said that, it was a comprehensive victory for England, and I mean, I don't really need to say much. England were in the position that Australia was in the first match, but they ended up taking their team over the line with Moyne coming in and hitting a 6 and a 4. That really helped them, and Moyne Ali finally did something after a long time. Alright, so England have won the series, and this third game is going to be a dead rubber. However, they convinced us to watch it by saying that the T20 International #1 ranking is up for grabs. Now, I don't understand how these rankings work. I mean, England did win the series. Shouldn't they be the #1 now? So, please, if someone knows, let me know in the comments down below. So, Australia won this third game, but I think it had more to do with England's sloppy fielding and batting collapse than it had to do with how well Australia played. Alright, so this game starts and England is put into bat. And Bairstow and Banton can't hit a ball for their life. I mean, they have 31 runs in the first 6 overs. First 6 overs is where you're supposed to get a good start, right? I mean, Tom Banton has really just failed in this series. He did good in the first series, but if you remember that he was dropped in one of the games, and, you know, Pakistan's bowling lineup is not the best right now, and he was able to perform under those conditions. And this was a spinning wicket, and he couldn't convert his little bit of a start into runs. And also, he was opening in this game, and he was coming in the middle order in the previous games. And so maybe the changeup didn't help. I don't know what's going on. He's a young guy. He's buckling under Australian pressure. I don't know, but hopefully he improves. And then David Malan is finally dismissed without making a good score. And what does it take to dismiss such a good player? Brilliant fielding. An awesome catch by Stoinis, and Zampa finally catches a break. And then Zampa comes in and takes Billings' wicket as well. I guess he is taking Shane Warne's advice of bowling a little slower and not having too much pace on the ball. And then Agar comes in and Bairstow is caught and bowled. I mean, some good spin bowling on display right here. The last score, 145 for 6. Last overs, you know, good last overs by Kane Richardson and Mitchell Starc. And not too much of a competitive score. However, I thought that maybe England could still pull it off with their good death bowling and good fast bowling. Alright, so what happens when the England side comes out to field? Miserable fielding. They had 3 dropped catches. Malan dropped 2 catches, and Bairstow dropped 1, even though he normally doesn't drop any. And I think that catch was supposed to be Adil Rashid's catch, and Adil should have called out for it instead of making the wicketkeeper run all the way down to the bowler's end to try to catch a ball. Even though I think Bairstow called out for it, still, it wasn't his to catch. It was Adil's to catch. But still, despite all that, England still take Australia to the last over. England is not giving up without a fight. I really like that in a team. I think a lot of people are going to blame Moyne for this loss because of what bowling changes he brought in. But I think we saw some good captaincy by Moyne as well. I mean, he brought in Joe Denley when he saw that the wicket was spinning and Adil Rashid was almost out of his overs, and so he brought in another leg spinner, and he almost got a wicket. David Malan dropped that catch, and hence proving that catches and sloppy fielding is what won Australia the game, and not Australia's brilliant display or brilliant performance, you know? And another thing is that England was missing key players. They were missing Morgan, they were missing Butler, and, you know, Jason Roy is obviously injured. And no, this whole series, Jason Roy was injured. Joe Root, there's no Joe Root. There's no Ben Stokes. And so with the full strength squad, England can really do some magic. I don't think there's any team out there that can beat England's white ball team currently, whether it be Australia, New Zealand, Pakistan, anybody. Adil Rashid did a really good job. He took 3 key wickets, Finch, Steve, and Maxwell. I mean, I think he dismissed Maxwell in all 3 games this time. It's crazy. Maxwell just ends up throwing away his wicket to spinners, and the commentators are still saying, oh, he's a really good player of spin. Well, clearly not. Clearly not right now. Maybe he's saving his performances for the IPL, which we're also going to be covering, so stay tuned for that. I think where England really screwed up was the last few overs. I think when Moyne put Mark Wood to bowl for, I think it was a 14th over, it might have been a bad decision. I mean, Jordan had a lot of overs left, and he should have put Jordan in and then put Jofra in the 17th or 18th over instead of putting Jordan there. Mark Wood got slapped around in that over. I'm sorry. It was sad to watch. So the last 3 overs were bowled by Jordan, then Curran, and then Jordan again. And the commentators were disagreeing, and they were saying that maybe Archer should have been bowling the last few overs because they needed a wicket. Again, I disagree with the experts. Let's start a fight in the comments. Do you agree with me that Jordan and Curran were the right decision, or do you agree with the commentators who were saying that Jofra should have bowled one of the last overs? At the end of the day, we find out that fielding is racist. Yes, the act of fielding. Here's how I'm going to prove it to you. Who can't field? Which team can't field? Pakistan's team. What are they? They're Muslim and they're brown. And what's Moeen Ali? Muslim and brown. And as soon as he comes in to captain England's side, all of a sudden England can't field? Hence proven that fielding is racist and we should ban fielding from cricket. Hashtag ban fielding from cricket. Start this hashtag on Twitter. Start this movement. And Azim Rafiq can get on this bandwagon as well. Thank you for watching my videos, and we'll see you next time.